If you grew up in the 1970s, there's something inside you that most people today will never understand. A kind of strength you didn't choose, it was shaped into you. A way of thinking that was built quietly, without you even noticing. And maybe you've wondered why you feel so different from the world today. Why you stay calm when others panic. Why you trust yourself more than your phone. Why you can handle storms that make younger people crumble. Well, this video will tell you exactly why. Because your childhood wasn't just a time period, it was a training ground. A boot camp for real life, disguised as freedom. 1. A childhood without supervision and without fear. Growing up in the 70s meant living in a world where disappearing for half a day wasn't considered dangerous. No phones, no GPS, no constant check-ins. Just a bike, a group of friends, a street that felt like a universe, and the rule: be home before dark. And even that rule was negotiable. This didn't just give freedom, it built something deeper. A natural instinct to trust yourself. A voice that still whispers inside you today: whatever happens, I can figure it out. 2. Raised by a tough generation. Without saying a word, most people who grew up in the 70s were raised by parents shaped by war, scarcity, or real struggle. They didn't talk much. They didn't complain. They didn't make excuses. They endured. And without realizing it, you absorbed that energy. Your parents didn't sit you down for motivational speeches. They didn't say, "Let me teach you responsibility." They showed you, silently, every single day. That kind of upbringing doesn't fade, it hardwires you. 3. Learning responsibility before you even knew the word. You didn't learn responsibility from a school program. You learned it at home, from chores you didn't get paid for, from fixing things instead of replacing them, from making do with what you had. If something broke, you repaired it. If something went wrong, you adapted. If help was needed, you were the help. And that's why to this day, people from your era have a strange kind of maturity. I read a book about emotional intelligence, but the kind that comes from real life. 4. Witnessing real life, not screens. Kids today learn life through screens. You learn life by watching people live it. You saw parents work long hours without collapsing. You saw neighbors help each other without selfies. You saw real stress, real bills, real pressure handled quietly. And it taught you something priceless. Life is tough, but you're tougher. 5. The 70s kids. The bridge between two worlds. Your generation is rare. You lived in the final era before everything changed. 1 foot in the old world, slow, human, grounded, and 1 foot in the new world, fast, digital, overwhelming. You know what silence feels like. You know what boredom feels like. You know what it means to find fun, not wait for it to appear on a screen. And that gives you a type of depth, a type of steadiness, that's becoming more and more uncommon. 6. Why talking to someone from the 70s feels different. People your age don't try to impress, don't try to compete, don't measure their worth in likes or followers. You're calmer, more present, more grounded. Not because you learned it, but because you lived a childhood that built it into you. Your confidence doesn't come from apps or achievements, it comes from experience. From the storms you walked through. From the responsibilities you handled before you were ready and doing it anyway. 7. A soft comparison, the overstimulated new generation. Meanwhile, kids born after 2000 grew up in a world your generation never had to face. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, and quiet moments, and no mental rest. Everything is fast. Everything is loud. Everything is urgent. Their brain takes in more information in a day than you did in a week. They are smart, creative, connected, but also exhausted, overwhelmed, anxious, hyperstimulated. They're not weak, they're drowning in a world that moves too fast. 8. So who had it harder? That's the question. Your generation had physical freedom, but emotional pressure, early responsibility, little protection, and no emotional vocabulary. Today's generation has comfort, but mental pressure, digital chaos, invisible comparison, and constant noise. Each generation carries a different kind of weight. But here's what makes the 70s generation special. You survived without the tools everyone now calls necessary. No therapists, no Google, no YouTube advice. Just grit, instinct, and a childhood that taught you to figure life out the hard way. A warm connection to viewers. So tell me, were you born before 1980 or after it? Which parts of this hit home for you? Drop your age or your childhood memories in the comments. I'd love to read your stories. And if any part of this video reminded you of who you are, hit subscribe. We go deeper every day.